Let's see if this works better. I was just did a live for like 5 minutes, but apparently I had my headphones on, but they weren't working. So I was talking. You couldn't hear me, I guess. People jumped on and they were like, your mic is muted." I was like, "Damn it! It does not show mute. Hopefully, you guys can hear me." I think it might have just been my connection. So I'm doing a brand new live now. But I was just saying, in the live, I was just saying that it is 105 degrees right now in Phoenix, Arizona. It's really hot. It's even hot in the shade. It's like really hot. And there's a slight breeze, but even in the shade, like it's fine. And it's really humid because yesterday we had like a monsoon here. Like the sky was overcast, but it was raining. So it is just sweltering today. But I decided to come out on the back patio and do this live because um I think the scenery is nice. I wanted to come outside and do a quick live because I just started watching Heated Rivalry. I've never actually seen Heated Rivalry. Uh it's a very interesting show. And then hopefully you guys can hear me over the wind. If not, I may have to go inside. But I wanted to say that well, first of all, I was saying I have a new shirt. I bought the shirt. I took a cruise to Mexico with my friend this year, and I got the shirt as it's like my cruise shirt. So what do you guys think? Fun, right? I wore it last night when I did trivia and people seem to like it. It's fun. I like it. Um but then I was also saying that my friend wanted me to start watching reality TV with her. She's like, "You got to understand like the mind numbingness of it. Like it's just fun to just like watch reality television, drink and just chill and like get lost in it." And of course, someone who works in the film industry, I never really been a big fan of like, reality television. But I also work in like scripted television. And so I was like, "All right, I'll watch it." So she wanted me to watch Love Island, and I didn't realize that Love Island, like when I said yes, I was like, "I can commit. We'll do like one night a week." But apparently, I didn't know this. It's every night. It's basically every night except for Wednesday night, and then Saturday night they have a recap. So it's like 5 out of 7 nights you got to commit to the show for like 6 weeks. I had no idea. But it's also interesting because I do also do trivia during the week. And I go to my bars and do my trivia and I talk to all the waitresses and the people there and they love the show. So I never did anything with Love Island. I didn't really know much about it. Although this is the 8th season, so go figure. So I just wanted to talk today about Love Island and also recap some stuff, I don't know, about current affairs in the world because I was trying to think of what I could talk about on my lives because in my life it's just pretty chill. Like I'm just chilling around today. It's hot, so I'm staying inside, drinking water out of my big Stanley cup here, eating some milk duds, and sitting outside in 100-degree weather. I'm not a fan of Dragon Ball Z. My nephews were, but I was not. I'm sorry. Okay, so really quickly, I just want to talk about a few things. Politics, really quickly. What do you guys think about Trump having to take his name off of the Trump Kennedy Center? I love that because he should have never done that. I think him putting his name on it. It's interesting, and I'll tell you this: it's such a spectacle, which is I think it's funny that he decided to put a tarp over it while they're taking the name down. He goes and changes the name, against what he wants to do. It was something he wanted to do. He did it on his own. He didn't get permission. He brought in a board that they could do it. They did it on their own. They made the decision. He goes out there, puts his name up overnight. A judge comes in and says, "Oh no, you can't do that. It has to be taken down," and then they have to go take it down. So instead of him just waiting, right, to get approval and do it and present it that way. He just goes and does it. And so it was such a huge spectacle to have it put up. And now it's a huge spectacle to have it taken down. And I love that for him because he should have never done it in the first place. No, he doesn't do anything beneficial for the country at all. But I just find that fascinating that like he decides to do something he's not supposed to do, made a big spectacle out of it, and had to be it was like and I think it's even bigger spectacle that he had to take it down. But he was told to do it. He put a big tarp behind it so that way no one could see him do it. I thought that was really funny. Also, the UFC fight is this weekend on the White House lawn, which I think that is a bunch of bullshit. But I was just reading some stuff. Thank you, Aaron Parnas, that it might thunder and lightning this weekend. There might even be tornado watches. I don't know, but um, there's a lot of bullshit happening in Washington D.C. right now, and I kind of think that's befitting if you really get it. So the whole thing's a joke. It really is, and it's so disheartening that like always tell people that when I travel abroad, I said I would never tell them I'm from the United States. At the time when I was traveling, I was living in California, and so I never tell people from the United States. I just say, "Oh, I'm from California," because like they know it's from the United States, but uh, California is like the sixth largest economy in the world, and so it kind of comes with its own reputation, and so it's much easier to say, "Oh no, I'm just from California." So, and I do not play Roblox. Sorry, thank you for asking. But speaking of those, who's all watching Love Island? I was saying I never really watched it before, and I was watching it with my friend, and I loved all the guys. I think they're hot. Overall, I really liked Sean. I was disappointed that he got voted off first, because I really liked him, and I wanted to see what other connections he could uh, explore. And I thought that was fascinating. He got voted off first, so I was a little disheartened by that. Um, I did not like Trinity when the show first started, but ironically enough, she's grown on me a lot over the last like few episodes. Um, she seems pretty normal. Her and Bryce, although my favorite couple, truthfully, is they call them Rice. It's Zach and Bryce because they have like this intense bromance. It seems, and it's kind of funny. Um, and then Gabriel's hot, but he does have like fuckboy energy, and I don't like that. And it just seems like it seems like a disservice to the show. All you like to subscribe. Boom, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, were you guys listening to my on my live? I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now. It's freaking 100 degrees here. I drink constant water. I'm gonna get really hot, and I'm probably not gonna stay here for too long because it's so hot. And I had to start my live over because my first live I talked for like 5 minutes before I realized that my mic wasn't working. So, um, I'm having milk duds. So I apologize. Um, so I just want to know who watches Love Island. If you did, who are your favorite characters and why? Because now there's been all new bombshells like Kata. She's beautiful. Although I will tell you, KC growing me a lot, and now I think it's hot. But I also love Amaya, and I love Casey and Amaya together. They're basically like my favorite couple. You know, um, my friend and I were saying this last night that they seem the most mature. They have the less drama, which is why we see less of them. And then for some reason, like this milk does take forever to chew. Um, Gabriel's hot, but he's a fuckboy. But he seems like not really, except for last night's episode because they got rid of Bea. They showed a lot of him. It's like the first time he's actually had any sort of depth as a person or a character on the show. So it's very fascinating. Um, I loved Bea at first. I loved everything she stood for. I love that she had a disability and that she didn't let that hold her down. And she was, a a medal winner. All these things about her were great, but there were some things about her. I don't know. She just seemed a bit. Melanie definitely has all the drama, right now, but Bea just seemed a little confrontational in some ways, and I just wasn't sure that needed it on the show. And even though she had a thing for Sean, she decided to go against Sean and go for Gabrielle. And then like they just didn't seem to mesh all too well, in my opinion. So it was just very interesting that she did not go for Sean when she should have because Sean was hot. And now they're both off. And what's also very interesting about Casey and Amaya is they were sort of like the default couple. Like, in the first challenge, nobody picked them and they were both single and vulnerable. So they paired them up and they seem to be the strongest. Which kind of just shows you that sometimes when it comes to love, you just have to let it happen. Of course, this is talking to somebody who's single and have been single for a very long time. But I just find that fascinating. I do hope they stay on the show for a while. Um, but tell me your thoughts. Like, if you're watching Love Island right now, season 8, let me know your thoughts on everything. Like, I know I was just seeing a video today. Like, Corbin is Jamaican, but he doesn't have his accent, and I wish that he would because I've been to Jamaica and I did a movie in Jamaica, and the accent's great. So they should keep that. And let him be honest who he is. Um, Kenzie's interesting. She's very bubbly. I did not like. I thought that Caleb, I think his name was okay, but he's actually grown on me a lot. I think I like his all American sort of cowboy vibe. He's really cute. But who's your favorite guy, and then who's your favorite girl? You have to let me know, and then we got to talk more. And we can dish on this strand if we want, because that'll be amazing. I got to talk more about it. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I wasn't sure. I had such an interesting like Bea was really funny. Like the things that she would say. Like she's like, I don't compete for. She's like, I compete for medals and not for men. Which she had some really great sayings, and she was actually very very funny. I just wasn't sure if I 100% liked her on the show. Keeping in mind, this is my first time watching any sort of reality show, and I don't really know like what I'm supposed to be looking for. Although I know, like, here's the thing. I understand that like reality television, it's not scripted specifically, but there is a story editor, and so like as they're shooting, they have to find those moments to make it work, and then they have to also do things to create the drama. Like the whole point of us America voting to recouple people, stuff like that creates drama. And it's interesting because like there's some couples we wanted to see that end up together, and there's some, we don't want to see. So having that sort of power and relying on the audience to shape that is kind of an interesting way. Oh, Mina Toya 1643 says his birthday. Happy birthday. I'm just talking I was talking about politics for a second, then now I'm talking about Love Island. And I'm just saying that it's 100 degrees right now outside. And I'm not gonna be on this live for very long because it's so hot. And I'm just like slurping on this water like crazy. I got this new cup yesterday. It's like insane how big it is. It holds so much water and I love it. I'm also eating milk duds, but because I'm outside in 100-degree weather, they are about to melt. So I'm gonna have to take them inside. But if you watch Love Island, let me know what you think. Right now, like I said, I think Casey and Amaya are my favorite couple. I really, at this point, want them. Although I think my friend and I will probably watch it tomorrow before we watch the new episode. But the recap between